Hi, and welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. I'm Scoot. For those of you who don't know me, I am a radio talk show host, and I am currently on WWL in New Orleans. This is my home, and I'm proud to be back home at WWL. You can stream the show. I'll tell you how to do that a little bit later. But today's a really very interesting date. Today is the day that a mistress appeared with the President of the United States. The press knew, Secret Service knew, they all knew what was going on. And nobody said anything. One of the things that I do like to talk about is mass media and society. And we'll talk about how the media has changed coming up here in just a moment. It was, first of all, let me tell you what it was, and then I'm going to let you actually hear it. It was on this day, May 19th, 1962, that Marilyn Monroe came out and sang a very sultry, breathy, "Happy Birthday, Mr. President," to President John F. Kennedy in front of 15,000 people at Madison Square Gardens in New York. She was banging the president. So anyway, here's what it sounded, before we get to that, here's what it sounded like. Alexa, play Marilyn Monroe singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to President Kennedy.
Here's "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" by Marilyn Monroe on Amazon Music.
Okay, so listen.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
All right, Alexa, thank you. That's enough. Stop. Alexa, stop. Okay. So that's what it sounded like. She was banging the President of the United States, and she's singing this song to him on stage. Now, I know the First Lady, Jacqueline Kennedy, spent the day earlier in the day at a horse show with her kids. Was she there that night? I don't know, because she did not go to many Democratic fundraisers. And this was both a combination birthday party, 45th birthday celebration for President Kennedy, and it was also a Democrat fundraiser. Now, this was actually 10 days before Kennedy's actual birthday, but again, it was a combination birthday party and gala. So here you've got Marilyn Monroe, the ultimate sex symbol at the time. I mean, was she like Kim Kardashian, Sofia Vergara, Khloe Kardashian? I mean, pick out a hot sex symbol today. And that's who Marilyn Monroe was in the life of the president. He was having sex with her. Now, Marilyn Monroe came out in a fur, and then she quickly took off the fur, and she was wearing a skin tight dress. Skin tight. It was valued at about $1,400, which I think today would be around $10,000, $15,000. So an expensive dress covered with sequins and rhinestones. And so here's the president having his mistress sing to him like this. Now, this had to be an embarrassment for the First Lady, whether she was there or not. It had to be an embarrassment, because this was something that was widely celebrated beyond this moment in front of 15,000 people at Madison Square Garden. She had to know. Everybody knew. And speculation is that she knew as well. But how interesting that the media knew. They knew. And they did not report it. Isn't that interesting? You know, the media used to be different than it is today. And in my studying of mass communications, it seems like the real breaking point came, the real tipping point came in the early to mid 70s during the Watergate investigation. And when Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein became celebrity star reporters because they were dealing with this political issue, that's when it seemed like the media started to really pander to a voyeuristic America. Come on, we're very voyeuristic. We love to know what goes on in the privacy of people's lives. And that's when it seemed like it really started to turn very personal in terms of coverage. But the media knew about the sex between Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe, but they didn't report it. At one point, the media knew about FDR, President Roosevelt, in a wheelchair for part of his presidency. I've read that there were times that FDR fell out of his wheelchair. The media was there. But out of respect for the office of the presidency, they didn't report it. Well, you remember right after Watergate, Gerald Ford was kind of a bumbling, stumbling president. Chevy Chase played Gerald Ford stumbling in many skits on Saturday Night Live. And man, the media was there to cover every misstep of Gerald Ford. And recently, think about Joe Biden, President Biden, going up the steps of Air Force One. He stumbled. We saw that. But there was a time that the media wouldn't show that. And this is where we are today. So on this day, May 19th, 1962, was the day that Marilyn Monroe sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to President Kennedy. And it's also a reminder of how much the news media has changed over the years. But it's not just the media's fault. It's our fault as well. Because we are voyeuristic. And we want to know this information. And one of the things that I talk a lot about on my radio show on WWL is the idea that it is the audience that drives the media. And I love sharing this truth behind the microphone with you because there are far too many people in the media who do what I do, who really have no concept of the real theories behind communication. They don't really understand the relationship between mass media and society. And the media delivers what they think you want consistently. They don't give you the most important news. They don't determine this is the most important thing for the American people to know. And I'm generalizing here. Obviously, it's a lot different with the cable news channels. They do it even more. But even the evening news, the standard evening news on CBS, ABC, and NBC, even they do it. They give you the news that they think you want. And a great example of this is, I remember I was watching MSNBC, and Andrea Mitchell is really one of the more credible journalists on television, on the cable news channels. She was talking about an NSA report and Andrew Snowden. They broke into the report to give us an update on the arrest of Justin Bieber in Miami Beach. If that doesn't let you know that news is entertainment and tends to lean toward pop culture and voyeurism into the private lives of people, nothing does. And that's us. Because as long as the news is designed to get ratings and generate revenue, the goal is to get a large audience for the purpose of generating revenue, then the news media is going to be governed by the same principles that govern any form of entertainment. It's about audience, it's about money. And those are facts. But I guess the alternative would be government-controlled media, which we don't want. And one of the precious things we have in America is a free media. Now, being free, it's part of the free market society and economy. So, again, they're going to go for giving you what they think you want. And so there was a time when, again, the media didn't cover these things, but I just thought that was it's a really interesting way to look at this this day when Marilyn Monroe sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to President Kennedy, and just a reminder of how the media operated then, and the respect that they showed for the office of the presidency, and how the media is today. And there's no changing this. It's not going to change. In fact, it might even get worse. The news might be even more driven by entertainment. But it's important for you to know this. We don't want the government to control the media. And we can't control the media. Well, we do vicariously through our desires of what we want. But we tell the media what stories to cover and how to cover the stories and how long to keep the stories on the air by our attention span. And so it's a really, everybody's so quick to blame the media. The media does this. And you know what? The media is a reflection of us, the American people. And like a mirror, the media is like a mirror. You look into a mirror, and what do you see? A reflection of yourself. The media is a reflection of us. Because the media doesn't have the ability to do anything other than the same way the mirror. It doesn't have the ability to do anything other than reflect back that which is looking into it. You can join me on my radio show. It's WWL in New Orleans. Download the app Odyssey. AUDACY. AUDACY. Type in WWL, and you've got our show and our station wherever you have your phone, which we know is everywhere. And I'm on 1 to 4 Central Time, Monday through Friday. And I'm trying to kind of lean away, as I talked about this last night, lean away from all the head-to-head Republican versus Democrat just bullshit that we deal with on a regular basis, because it's what it is. It's bullshit. And it gets boring. But there's going to be times when we have to cover those things, and I will. And I'm not afraid to talk about anything or anybody, but I just try to give the audience a little bit of a break from some of that just head-to-head hateful confrontation between right and left, because nobody wants to change their mind about anything. Everybody's all set on exactly what they think. Anyway, thank you for joining me on the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. I hope you will become a subscriber. If you haven't, subscribe, and it's free, and we'll give you a little notice every time we do something.